This just revealed a lot about the Toronto Maple Leafs as heading into next season. We get insiders revealing huge details on a Leafs player as reports are circulating on a trade coming. But not only that, we get a huge update from Morgan Rielly revealing going into this season exactly what he wants to achieve, and Brad Treliving speaks on this as well. We're going to break down this trade report on a Leafs forward as they look to clear up cap space to add a top six forward, and the quotes from Morgan Rielly that will have Leafs fans buzzing. We're going to break down all this and so much more later on this episode. Before we get into that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching the video. And if you're part of the 76.8%, you haven't hit the sub button yet, but you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the NHL, make sure to go down and hit that free subscribe button. It helps a bunch. And in return, we'll give you daily updates from all around the league. But with that, let's just go straight into it today. And before we get into the Morgan Rielly quotes coming from him and Brad Treliving, there is a lot of talk around trades circling the Leafs. Now, the one we do get today, coming from David Pagnotta, is on Calle Jarnkrok. He says he was in discussions all summer. The Leafs tried trading him. They had discussions with other teams. Obviously, that didn't work out. We'll see kind of where that goes. Now, we know Brad Treliving is looking to add top six help to this team. They want to add a top six winger to a stacked forward group with John Tavares and Austin Matthews stationed on the second and the first line. Adding talent like this is going to cost not only assets, but also cap space, which the Leafs do need to figure out where they're going to get it. Now, Calle Jarnkrok is an interesting one. A productive forward when healthy, but Calle Jarnkrok has missed quite some time over his 3 seasons with the Leafs, or just in general around the NHL. We can see with the Leafs, 73 games, 52 games, down to 19 games. Calle Jarnkrok hasn't found his footing to stay healthy in the regular season or found his footing to be productive in the postseason. Now with Calle Jarnkrok, there is a bit of value. Having a guy like this at a low cap hit is awesome within the lineup, but when looking at all the other talent on this Leafs team, it's hard for him to find a spot. We're seeing the reports that Max Domi is practicing with Austin Matthews and Matthew Knies. This seems like what they're going to go out. We've seen how productive it was with Bertuzzi, Matthews, and Domi, so when you add a more complete player in Matthew Knies, this line is set to make some noise. We know Bobby McMahon, who finally got the monkey off his back, scoring in the preseason with John Tavares and William Nylander, but the bottom six, or middle six really, is where things get confusing. You have a lot of guys coming over like Machelli, joining this group on the wing, which does slide Calle Jarnkrok down. Easton Cowan has looked impressive in this postseason, and when you're working your way down to the bottom 4 guys, you have Michael Pezzetta that is set to get some games. It does get interesting on how they go out to navigate trades on these guys. Now we know there's a lot of names on this Leafs roster that has been in trade talks. David Kampf and Calle Jarnkrok are 2 guys that have been stationed with this, but with the Leafs looking to clean up and add more cap space and flexibility to their roster, having a projected 1.9, which is a decent bit when you get to deadline. But if the Leafs want to acquire a winger before the deadline, before teams start getting into bidding wars, this is where things get interesting for Brad Treliving. Now, with these reports, we know they discussed, they've been out there, they've been working on stuff. Nothing has happened. This has been a very quiet offseason around the NHL. There hasn't been a lot of trades. We've seen the Canucks trading Dakota Joshua. We've seen the Canucks trade Artur Shilovs. But when looking around the rest of the NHL, not a lot of moves have been happening. But moving off Jarnkrok's $2.1 million cap hit is not going to be as hard as some people expect. There's going to be injuries around the league going into the rest of the preseason, into the final bit of training camp to start the year. So with Calle Jarnkrok's contract, the Leafs are not going to have to dish out draft picks or anything in between to move off a contract like this once teams start circling back on adding a forward. But Leafs fans, what is your thoughts? Do you think Calle Jarnkrok could make his way back into the lineup? Would you rather move on from someone like Nick Robertson or someone within this group to keep Calle Jarnkrok? Would you move on from him and David Kampf to open up that extra room for the Leafs to make a trade? Let us know down in the comments. But let's go straight into the second part today, where Brad Treliving spoke on Morgan Rielly. Morgan and I had a real good and an honest chat about where this year was and what I was thinking he's capable of. All to say that it was something he took to heart. Now, Morgan Rielly, the longest tenured Leaf on this team, has had some up and very down seasons within this group. The Leafs are going in with a new mold, a heavy-to-play style, like we see in the Western Conference, with all signs pointing towards the defenseman wanting to take the next step. Now, Morgan Rielly, there's a lot of mixed emotions. You either love him or you wish he was gone. But the big thing with Rielly, still a very productive defenseman, especially when getting into the playoffs. 7 points in 13 games last year in a down year where they put up 41 points in the regular season. But if you're going back to the series they had versus Tampa, going in against Florida, we've seen him put up a 41-point season in 65 games. So when you're looking at total stats, if he played more games, he's hitting the 50-point threshold, but he also went out to score 4 goals and 12 points in the playoffs. Getting this version of Morgan Rielly back is going to change everything. We know he's set to join the power play group. We've seen him taking reps. He's actually finally shooting from the back end on the power play as well. With Mitch Marner departing, this is going to open up a bigger opportunity for Rielly to take an offensive load when it comes to the Leafs team. We know he's going to be stationed next to someone like Carlo, and we do see Rielly say, I was disappointed with the way last season went, so I took it upon myself to answer the bell. Now, with Morgan Rielly saying this, there's a lot of ways to look. Yes, you could say, hey, he should have been saying this for the years previous, but the big thing is, with this new identity this Leafs team's building without the core four, like Craig Berube said, this is a group that's looking to make a big statement and achieve more than they have in the previous seasons. If Morgan Rielly can even get back to a 20-goal season, the 72-point season, or even a high 60-point season, we're going to see a big jump in production from the Leafs back end. OEL is set to take another big step. We know how shut down a lot of their guys are. But the big thing with the Leafs, they need more offense coming from their back end, and this really starts with Morgan Rielly and moving forward. Now, the big thing with Rielly and what a lot of people are going to look at is a $7.5 million contract. If Morgan Rielly goes out to not achieve what he's used to doing, or if he doesn't achieve what the Leafs teams is expecting from him, this is a contract that Brad Treliving's going to have to look at and maybe move on from. We know how strong the back end is. We know the goaltender Stoller's in contract talks. This is the team that currently wants to win a Stanley Cup, and most teams should every year. But with the way they built the back end, bringing in Henry was an awesome 7th defenseman, moving on from Ryan Reeves. But the big thing is, with the top 4, they need to take a huge step. OEL looked great on the left side, so maybe he even slides over there. But the big thing with the Leafs is getting the production they need from the back end going in, and we're going to see a lot of this tonight. Now, listen, this is not going to be the Leafs lineup that we're going to see at the start of the year, obviously, but a lot of these young pieces are making a push. The mold of this Leafs team is slowly changing, and we're finally seeing in the preseason. But who are you most excited to see take the next jump? Is it Austin Matthews going back to score another or close on 70-goal season? Is it Morgan Rielly's resurgence? Is it to see the goaltenders over a full season? Is it Easton Cowan? Let us know down in the comments. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark. Bye, and take care.